Hello, welcome back to iCourses.org. My name is Claude, and once again I'll be talking to you today about another aspect of the TOEFL exam. Today we're going to talk about function questions. Now this is one of those question types that you'll see mostly on the conversation type questions. The function questions, as the name implies, is going to be testing your ability to understand the reasons why the speaker says something, and it's usually the lecturer or the counselor. It's not usually the student. So, for example, first of all, you're going to hear the whole conversation first, and then once you get to this function question, they're going to replay part of the conversation. So it'll be information that you've already heard before. So it'll start with something like this. You'll hear the narrator say, "Listen to part of the lecture again." And then you'll hear the professor or the counselor say something. This is just an example. "As you'll recall, epidemiology is the study of the causes, spread, and control of diseases among populations." Okay, so since it's a function question, these are the only ones that you're going to hear again. Don't worry about the details like epidemiology. You don't have to worry about those words there. These questions basically test your ability to understand mostly phrasal verbs or things that are stuck into the conversation that have a separate meaning. And then they'll play the specific part again. So you just heard that part. "As you'll recall, epidemiology is the study of the causes, spread, and control of diseases among populations." And then you'll hear the narrator again. "What does the professor mean when he says," and then back to the professor, "As you'll recall, epidemiology is the study of." Okay, the words they're focusing on there is "as you'll recall." Now, sometimes you might not understand which words they're focusing on, and that's why you have to go to the possible question types. Question type A, he wants students to remember a piece of information. B, he plans to call on a student to comment on his point. C, he is mentioning a point previously discussed. And D, he is introducing a new topic. Okay, so from the answers, you can probably understand they're talking about the phrase, "as you'll recall." Now, you might not exactly understand what that phrase means, but you can usually figure it out from the answers by finding words that either mean the same thing. Now, there's a couple different tricks that they use to try to throw you off. First of all, let's look at the different answers. He wants students to remember a piece of information. Now, you might know that the word recall does mean the same thing as remember. These are synonyms, recall and remember. So that could be a good choice. But let's read through the rest of them. B, he plans to call on a student to comment on his point. Now they're trying to trick you by using the word call. Recall, call. They sound about the same, but they have different meanings. C, he is mentioning a point previously discussed. Okay, they don't mention anything about synonyms. They don't use a word that sounds the same, but this might have the same meaning as what they're talking about. And D, he is introducing a new topic. Okay, so that's an example of an answer which is, you can pretty much tell it doesn't mean the same thing. It contradicts it. So these are the things that you have to look out for. Answers that contradict the meaning. So first of all, you can eliminate any answer that contradicts the meaning. That will save you some time. Now you only have 3 to choose from. Okay, remember and recall. Those words are similar. He plans to call on a student. Well, that's a word that sounds about the same, but it has a different meaning. So we know it's not B, and we know it's not D. As you remember, the first question says he wants the students to remember. Recall, remember. They mean about the same thing. But be careful, this is another way that they try to trick you. By giving you synonyms, they might mean the same thing, but it's the function, not the words that they want you to focus on. Why is he saying this? Not what is he saying. So look at answer C again. He is mentioning a point previously discussed. As you'll recall, the study of epidemiology is. Now, you've already heard the whole lecture. So you know that after he says that, he doesn't talk about epidemiology. He talks about something specific related to epidemiology. So he wants the students to remember something, but remember something he's previously discussed. That way, he doesn't have to talk about the specifics of that. He can move into the next subject. So this is another one. Okay, get rid of the contradictions, get rid of the obvious answers. Now, this I call it obvious because remember and recall mean the same thing, but it's not the words, it's the function. So you can get rid of obvious answers, get rid of answers that contradict, and get rid of answers that have the same or similar sounds. It's about the function. Previously discussed. So, as with everything on the TOEFL, it takes a little bit of practice, especially with dealing with these words and phrases, but we have lots of courses that will help you to deal with this. It's always good to study vocabulary, things like that. But once you realize the process on how to get rid of the correct answers, usually the right answer will show up. So, thank you for coming to class again. We have plenty more videos for you to check out on different question types and the different sections of the test. So stop back to iCourses. And once again, my name is Claude. Have a great day.